Hey, so welcome to Missing Links Lead Loud. My name is Richard Mulholland, and every week we go through it and we try and help you solve an answer to a burning question you may have around presenting. Now, this week is a little bit different because the burning question we're solving for is how do I structure a great presentation? Now, that's a meaty question. There's a lot of detail to go into. So we're going to be having 5 videos for you. The first, this one, is I'm going to explain to you the basis of the structure, and then I'm going to go into detail of each of the 4 steps to really give you a deep dive and as much information as you would need to give a presentation that will move an audience, because that's what we're trying to do here. So where do we start? Well, a lot of times people don't give enough thought into the structure of a presentation, but for me, it really forms the scaffold. It's the basis on that everything else is built into. And, you know, it's so often people, when I speak to presenters, they're like, oh, I don't need to worry about this stuff. I've presented so many times. You know, I've typed thousands of times. And I'm still, a hunt and peck typist. My typing isn't great. And that's the same with presenting. And the reason is because we don't have that structure. And without that structure, all that happens is people show up and they throw up. They're just blah, 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 blah. And they give information. And they sometimes give that information in an eloquent way. It's beautiful and the audience enjoys hearing it and it's fantastic. But does it move them? Possibly not. And so we want to give you the best chance of success. And the best chance of success is understanding this formula. A good presentation should be written before it's designed, before it's delivered. Your ovation will be earned in the preparation, not just the presentation. So that's where structures come in. Now, there's a lot of different structures that we've heard about over time. Probably the most famous one that people talk about all the time is, tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them, which is fantastic. But what are we supposed to tell them in the first place? And then tell them again and tell them what we told them? That's great if you understand that. And I there's some truth there. But we need to have a slightly better formula. Now, there's many different ones at play here we can choose from. The first one, problem, solution, benefit. So start off by doing the problem. This is the problem that we solve in the world. This is the solution. And this is the benefit thereof. That's great. But what do we do after this? What happens here? Now, a change on that one is opportunity, solution, and benefit. Now, in my mind, these two things, opportunity or problem, they both kind of form two sides of the same coin. So when we talk about a presentation, we talk about the 4 elements being the hero, the dragon, the weapon, and the action. Now, the hero is not the presenter. The hero is always the person in the chair, right? So the champion is in the chair, the sage is on the stage. That's how you got to think about this. The dragon is the problem that we're up against. Now, it comes with the dragon. If you picture every dragon story, behind the dragon is a pot of gold. And that pot of gold is the opportunity. So I believe that we should always be showing the problem, but also telling the opportunity that exists. So opportunity, solution, benefit. But again, what next? What happens after this? So we're on the right track by getting this problem and this opportunity up front by explaining to them what the solution is and the benefit, but I don't think we finished our work here. So there's another one, and I really like this one. I think it's kind of nice, but it suffers the same problem that we got in the beginning with tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them. So what are we talking about today? So what? Why should I care? What's going on? Now what? What do we do? But this actually takes us closer to the direction. But again, still not perfect. Now, all of these are somewhat based on, and they derive from, Aristotle's great logos, pathos, and ethos. And it's basically the information we have, the feeling that people have in there, the trust they have for you. And these building blocks are great, but this by itself isn't the structure. And for me, it's actually missing Argos, which would be action as well. So in the last 24 years that I've owned a presentation company, and in the last 18 years that I've been a speaker, I've been struggling to try and create a format that I felt would work every time. Is it the only presentation structure? Absolutely not. But could it work for the best, almost every presentation you do? Absolutely. And in fact, a little bit of backstory to how we created it. We were away in a conference in SnowCon, myself and my business partner and a bunch of the team, senior team that we work on. And we wanted to create a structure for each different destination of a presentation. So if it was a motivational presentation, what would the structure be? If it was a sales presentation, what would the structure be? And what we did is we started mapping out the structure, and we got to the structure, the framework I'm going to share with you today. But then we realized that this just worked across the board. It didn't need to be tweaked. No matter what type of presentation we were doing, whether it was a TED Talk or a business pitch, we realized the structure could work. So the framework I'm going to share with you now will work for each and every presentation you do. Are there alternatives? Absolutely. Right? Tattooed on my arm is question everything, and try different things that are going to work for you. But I want to give you the scaffold and the basis for where to start. This will give you the trust in your content that allows you to bring it as a speaker to really, really get yourself to the next level. So let's go into it. The action framework basically takes us through 4 steps. Step number 1, give them a reason to care. Step number 2, give them a reason to believe. Step number 3, tell them what they need to know. And step number 4, tell them what they need to do. Now, I know we love the rule of 3, and I'll actually talk to you about it in a future video in this very series. The problem is it works unless it doesn't. And sometimes we try to too neatly package things into, problem, solution, benefit, because it's 3. But actually, it should be problem, solution, benefit, action. And that's what we're missing here. In fact, there's even a missing step here. And so what we've gone with is problem, trust, information, and action. And that's basically what we want to take people through. So we're going to go into a bit of detail, but basically the first 2 are given gently. I'm going to give you a reason to care. Then I'm going to make sure you trust me about the reason to care I've given. Now I've earned your authority. Now I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Now I'm being a bit more impactful. Here's what you need to do. And then need to know, sorry. And then finally, here's what you need to do. So there's a change. It's gentle at the beginning and then a bit more force in your messaging as you build up towards your peroration in the end. So that's it. That's a framework. Stick with us. We're going to go through each of these in more detail in this series. Either stop now, take a break, or hit right the way through, and let's go into it.